Now, if you've had a stroke, I don't recommend you do any of these exercises on your own. I definitely recommend that you work with a therapist who understands how to grade an activity appropriately based on their assessment of you and where you're at in the recovery process. And no, I've said this a few times in a few recent videos. I don't necessarily think it needs to be like a neurologic physical therapist. And in fact, I do think many neurologic physical therapists are almost have some limiting beliefs around these things, whereas an orthopedic therapist, and again, just my opinion, because I have a lot of friends that are orthopedic physical therapists, their ability to kind of think outside the box and challenge you in an appropriate way, I almost feel like based on their experiences of working with a lot of different athletes and kids, because a lot of orthopedic physical therapists work with like teenagers and they work with the elderly. So their ability to work with all of those different age groups of people, I sometimes feel like their experience might be better. Now, the downside is some orthopedic physical therapists are just kind of like siloed, like they feel like that's the only condition that they can work with, and they don't think open-minded of how they can take those skills and apply them to someone who's maybe lower level. But in my experience and in my opinion of just working with both types of therapists over the years, I do feel like if you have an orthopedic therapist who's willing to learn and think outside the box a little bit, their whole thought process might be better if you're someone that's in this category of wanting to challenge yourself in this area, again, to improve your overall balance and your overall balance confidence. But most of you don't have, from what I see in the comments and the emails, you don't really have a neurologic physical therapist in your area. So the reason I'm mentioning all of this is I don't necessarily think you need a neurologic physical therapist. And in fact, I think some neurologic physical therapists might even hold you back. So don't rule out looking for a good orthopedic clinic near your home.